Here it is, the 2023 Honda Pilot. This is the EXL trim level that we're going to be taking a look at today. And we're going to answer the question, what's new for 2023? I can't make that rhyme like I could last year by saying what's new for 2022, right? Of course, I couldn't really say that with the Pilot last year anyway. But I'm going to show you all the features and the functionality of this fully redesigned Pilot. The exterior color on this particular model is obsidian blue. It has a gray interior. Still going to have a lot of those great same features that we've seen in the past, such as the privacy shades that are built into these doors. You're still going to activate the child safety locks here on the rear doors, not on the driver's side door over there. So what's going to happen is when that button right there or that switch is in the down position, that means the child safety locks are active. When it's in the up position like that, they're inactive. And why would you want to know about that? Well, let's just say that your windows were closed and you wanted to check out the back seat of your brand new Pilot out in the middle of nowhere, and there was nobody to help you get out, and then you found out that the child safety locks were active on the passenger side and the driver's side. You'd be using the pass-through to get up to that front door right there, or this door here, to get out. So it's good to know about that for a multitude of reasons. Now let's dive in to exactly what has changed with the Pilot. Starting with the front end, you can definitely tell the fact that from the A-pillar forward, this is the A-pillar right here, forward, a lot more squared off, a more aggressive look, a little more modern look, dare I say. And as we take a look at the redesigned headlight housings, we're going to have the LED daytime running lights right here. We're going to have the new headlight design here, kind of similar to what we see with the all-new Honda Accord. So again, you're going to see a lot of similarities among models on the inside and the outside. The turn signal indicator built in right here. You want to make sure you use those when you're driving down the road, because not only does it let people know what you're doing and what your intentions are, but when they look in the mirror or they see your LED taillights blinking like this, they're going to say, that person's not only a great driver, but they're driving one of those cool new Honda Pilots. It could really happen, seriously. We're going to have the chrome strip all the way across here on the top of the front end, just above the nice large grille, kind of a bit of a honeycomb design, but large. Plenty of air getting through for that new 3.5 liter six cylinder that's under the hood, the Honda V6. It's not the same one from the previous generation. Nice large Honda logo right here. And you will have the partially open, at least from here to here, lower grille. The sensors right here, you're gonna have parking sensors, you're gonna have blind spot monitoring, you're going to have Honda sensing. That's where it is right up there. It's using the camera system instead of the radar system, which is not anything unusual, but that's adaptive cruise control, road departure mitigation, lane keeping assist, and going to be traffic jam assist that is basically going to allow the vehicle to pretty much drive itself at 40 miles per hour or below in high traffic situations. But if you come to a complete stop with traffic jam assist for more than 5 seconds, it will deactivate. A little bit more chrome surround right here, and what a great segue with this chrome accent piece to show you the active air curtain right here. You should easily be able to see on the screen. It does go all the way through. That's going to help improve aerodynamics, reduce drag, and make the gas mileage better. A little bit of a change here with the front end as far as the design of the front bumper goes. Not a lot you can really see there necessarily, but just to kind of show you what's here as far as the lines go, it does look nice. Front spoiler right here, just really a nice look, clean, no gloss black up here. That's good because that means it's going to hold up really well. As we work our way up onto the hood, we're going to have some nice lines that flow in correlation from the fender up to the hood. A large area right here, a nice large bulge right here in the middle. If you like your bulges large and in charge, well, there they are. And tire and wheel size on this particular model, 255 on the width. I can't even hardly get my hand that wide open. A 60 series sidewall wrapped around the 18-inch wheels. We're gonna have the plastic right here that works its way around as accent pieces from the front end of the vehicle all the way around to the bottom down here. Gonna have a nice little kind of indentation of sorts here on the lower portion of the door sill, but I'm glad that all of this accent is not gloss black. It's not that it wouldn't look good, it is harder to keep clean, but it's also harder to get it to stand up to abuse of what's coming up off the road and hitting the vehicle. Body colored mirrors, these are manually foldable, power adjustable, heated, and they do have the turn signal indicators built in. As you can see, you're going to have the body colored door handles and your key. This is a walk away feature. It will have the proximity key, all that good stuff, lock, unlock. You can use remote start and open the power rear lift gate. And the surround trim on the side windows, for the most part, just going to be a flat black. You will have a nice brushed aluminum look down here on the bottom, and working our way towards the back, you've got your quarter window right here. That looks pretty nice. I like the fact that the body line comes back here and pretty much, for the most part, is going to be congruent with what we have on the rear window. And then it's going to have a little bit of a rise to it, just giving it a nice look. And we have our body colored shark fin antenna up there, the rear roof spoiler that is useful not just in making it look nice, it just gives a nice finish back here, but it also channels air over the rear window when the vehicle is in motion. That helps keep the rear window clean. Would like to have seen the rear window wiper tucked away up here inside of the rear roof spoiler, but I can't always get everything I want, but that's okay. You have your LED tail lights, and then a real clean look here on the rears. You don't have the exhaust coming out. Personally, I don't think that really matters, but that's what you have. It does look nice. It does look clean here on the EXL trim level. As is the case with this particular Pilot, it's front wheel drive, but obviously all wheel drive is available. And like I said earlier, this is a 3.5 liter V6, but it's not the same as the previous generation. The tuning map is different, so it's going to respond differently. It does make 285 horsepower compared to the previous generation of 280. The torque numbers remain the same at 262 pounds-feet. Gone is the 9-speed automatic transmission. Now it is going to be a standard 10-speed automatic transmission. When I say standard, that's a standard transmission that comes with the vehicle. It's not actually a standard transmission. I hope that makes sense. In other words, if you buy one of these Pilots, you're going to have that 10-speed automatic transmission. Let me get that right, just so it's easy for people to understand. You'd be surprised at how that works here on YouTube. MPGs, 19 city, 27 highway, 22 combined, and 4.5 gallons of gas is what Honda says you should use for every 100 miles you drive. And as we open the power tailgate, yes, on the EXL trim level, you are going to have the power tailgate. I'll show you how to adjust it as well. You can tow up to 5,000 pounds when properly equipped with this Pilot. And cargo capacity ranges between 18.6 cubic feet up to 86.5 and 87 cubic feet. Depending on how it is equipped, you can remove the middle row seat. I don't think this one is one of those, because what would happen is you would pull the strap right here, and then there's another strap in the front that you would pull that would allow you to get this seat out. It weighs about 40 or 50 pounds. The identical setup to what has been in the Honda Odyssey for quite a few years. And then we obviously can maximize our cargo capacity. All I did was pull on this lever right here. Everything can fold flat right here, giving you a lot of space for storage. But that's not the only place you can store things. You can also store things underneath the floor right here. So a lot of space in there. But that's not the only nifty little trick you'll find back here. One thing you'll notice is the fact that you have the carpeted floor right here. But if you're going to haul something back here that you're going to have the rear seats up on the third row right here, and you want to keep this carpet from getting dirty, maybe you don't have the cover right here for the floor, here is what you can do. You can actually take the floor, flip it over, and then you have a plastic side, just like the previous generation. But I like the fact that Honda left that alone. That is a good thing. And there is a little bit of additional storage space right here. You also have some over here on the left-hand side. Nice deep pocket right there where you can put things such as the front license plate holder, something we don't even need here in Louisiana because we don't have front license plates. And there is a 12-volt power outlet that will come in handy in a multitude of ways as well. Now, check this out. All you're going to do to change the height, say that's too high for somebody to reach, whatever the case is, maybe the ceiling's too low and that's not a good thing. To change the height all you do is you want to bring it down like this, and you're going to hold the button right here. That's why it says hold to set right here. And we're going to listen for the beeps. I don't know if you can hear them. It's kind of loud out here with the wind, and somebody's over there making a bunch of noise because they're building a new car wash here at Holmes Honda, but that's okay. We'll work with it as best as we can. So what you're going to see is after I did that, it changes the height of the rear door, the rear tailgate here on the Pilot. Now we're good to go. I'm going to reset that, and I'll meet you in the interior. All right, we'll take a quick look here at the door. We kind of looked at this a little bit earlier, but just to show you the soft touch materials here, that actually is pretty soft, so definitely going to be a comfortable armrest. The upper door bin right here, going to have actually room for a round bottle or a square bottle even right here. A couple of different options there, a little bit of space for the snacks right here, and additional space underneath. Quite a bit there, that's a good thing. And the good thing is, right here, you can push this button. What's going to happen? That seat's going to automatically move forward. I didn't do anything but push that button. Now, let me show you one thing real quick, just so that you can see. You can actually move these seats forward. There's a release right under here, and that allows you to move those seats forward. But just for grins and giggles, we're going to leave those where they are and see what the rear space is like, leg space-wise, without moving those. You know, that's really not too bad. I couldn't stretch out back here, but that's okay. I could probably sit back here and be okay for a little while. I'm gonna have to adjust my hair, but I will turn the camera around. Hello, everybody. There's how much headroom I have at 5'10", sitting straight up. Quite a bit of space up there, actually. And then we'll take a look over here. We're gonna have a USB port, air conditioning vent right here, 2 more cup holders. Nobody's going to go thirsty in here. That is a fact. And obviously the same thing will be mirrored on the other side. And by the way, it's very easy to get out of the back seat here. Just like that button I showed you on the side of the seat. You can push this one and it goes forward. I didn't do anything. Automatically slides forward on the tracks. Very simple, very easy to use. And in this particular case, you're going to find seat pockets on the back of both seats. More storage there. 2 air conditioning vents, that's always a plus. And then tri-zone climate control. Dual in the front, single for the rear back here. Everything is adjustable from fan speed, all that good stuff, the temperature. And there are 2 USB ports. I really wish car makers, car manufacturers, trucks, SUVs, whatever, when there's a back seat and you have room for 3 people, there should be 3 USB ports back here. Obviously an adapter can fix that problem. And while you do have the fold down armrest of sorts here with the cup holders and a ton of space in here, it's not built in the way it normally is, but just so you can see how that works, very similar to that of the Honda Odyssey. The only downside, in my personal opinion, not a bad thing, but what I notice here is that it's really low as far as being used as an armrest. Not necessarily a bad thing because you do have the armrests here on the doors. But if somebody wants to use this area as an armrest, they're going to be leaning down, almost like they forgot to drink their V8, kind of leaning to the side, tilting to the side. All right, if you hear the sirens in the background, this is such a hot new vehicle that the fire department's headed our way. We're going to keep looking until they get here. Basically the same setup here on the passenger side front door that we saw on the rear door, the upper and the lower door bins. Gonna have some gloss black right here, and that is going to work its way into the interior on the air conditioning vents. Very comfortable seating. We're gonna have power seats for the passenger. That means obviously we're gonna have power for the driver over there. But something I like that Honda did here, making use, instead of having that honeycomb design that we're seeing on some of the other models that have been redesigned, this area is wide open right here. You can see me sticking my hand in there. Plenty of space for, well, whatever you can get to fit in there, or the passenger can get to fit in there. A gloveless glove box. There's no gloves in here, but it's called a glove box, so that's what I'm going to go with. And then we're going to have our dual zone climate control here in the front, like I was telling you. Heated seats for the driver and the passenger. Heated only. Come on, let's get some ventilated seats too, especially for those of us here living in Northwest Louisiana, where it's in the 80s today in February. I'm not kidding. Dual zone climate control, you can sync or unsync that if you want to. Connectivity options with a couple of USB options there, as well as a 12-volt power outlet, a little bit of space right there. Wireless charging for the cell phone. That's always a win. A little bit of space there for another phone to sit. And then our cup holders here. The gloss black surround of the push button shifter. Again, I know a lot of people have their varying opinions on the push button shifter. What is your opinion on that? And then our mode selector, you can turn the auto stop start feature off and on. You have hill start assist and hill descent control as well here with the vehicle. Power parking brake, brake hold mode, so when you're in heavy traffic or whenever you want to do it, you can activate this button right here, this feature. When you come to a complete stop, the vehicle doesn't move again until you touch the gas pedal. And inside of the interior of the center console, quite a bit of space there, and it is nice and comfortable right here. Soft touch materials. You do have a conversation mirror, so there's that doubles as the sunglass holder. That's a multitasker, isn't it? One thing I did want to show you, you might have noticed earlier, I just walked up and opened the gas door. Well, the vehicle is locked right now, so the gas door won't actually open. That's a good thing. That way you know nobody can get in there and put anything into your gas tank that shouldn't be there. So we'll open the door here and take a look. For the most part, the same thing we saw on the passenger side, with a few exceptions. You can control all 4 windows. You can lock the windows, obviously lock and unlock, and control those power adjustable heated side view mirrors. And you have the 2 settings for seat memory. I would love to see Honda bring that in on both sides over there. Yeah, that would probably make the cost of the vehicle go up a little bit, but it would be nice to have. You can turn traction control off if you want to do a front wheel drive burnout. You can also open the rear tailgate right here. If you want to do a front wheel drive burnout with your tailgate open, you could do that as well. You can lower this lever right here to adjust the tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. And we'll listen. Kind of get that Honda greeting of sorts. I'm going to hit the push button start right here. We've got the updated digital instrument cluster right here. Something else that is obviously completely new for 2023. It looks modern, it looks nice, it's easy to use. You've got all your steering wheel mounted controls here. You can go through all kinds of information on the dashboard if you want to, as far as what's going on with the vehicle, depending on what you want to see. Let's see, we'll just run through a few of those if it will let me. Well, not yet. We're not going to worry about that, but we won't worry about doing that just yet. But you do have voice commands. I need to turn that off so that we don't. Here we go. Now I got it in where we can go in and look through some of these features here. We're not going to do every single little thing, I promise. This is very similar to what we had with the previous generation, but just so you can see what's here. Here's adaptive cruise control. You've got the steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. You have some gloss black surround here on this area as well, and then brushed aluminum down here on the bottom. A pretty nice contrast as far as how that looks. There's how you control those blinker things I was telling you about earlier. This is when you're turning to the right or changing lanes to the right, and then everything to the left, it goes into that down position. You also control the headlights and the LED fog lights right there, and you can control your front and rear window wipers as well. And something that I thought was interesting here, you can either have the 9-inch or the 11-inch touchscreen. In this case, it's the 9, but it is nice. I like the vertical design here, no longer set back kind of at an angle. So that's going to reduce the glare. That's a good thing, and it's easier to see for the driver and still kind of keep their eyes on the road. But what's interesting here is you have vehicle settings right here. Watch this. You notice how that went away? That's because the transmission went into gear. Whether you're in drive or in reverse, it's not there. Well, reverse doesn't show it, period, but it does block that out when you're in drive. So kind of an interesting thing I thought I would share with you. And speaking of vehicle settings, let's take a look here at what you have. New graphics as far as all of that goes. It looks really nice. You can make a lot of changes to the vehicle depending on how you want things to be set up. And I did show you right there the rear view camera. So it's still the multi-view system of the previous generation, but very intuitive, very quick to respond to the touch of your finger. And then obviously, well, let's go back into park. Here we go. Now we're good. We can get back into that. Obviously, you can pair your cell phone if you want to. You've got Apple CarPlay here as well. And I have paired my phone. I'm not planning to call the Shreveport Police Department, but that is just what came up on the screen. There we go. That's the screen I wanted to show you. So if you want to use Google Maps, for example, or whatever your favorite map feature is, navigation feature is. You can use what's built into the phone. I have an iPhone in this particular case, but you can see what's here. You can pair all of that together. It's very simple to use. A very nicely done interior. It's comfortable. It has plenty of space for driver and passenger, and a little bit of increased space in the rear area back there for cargo capacity. But one thing I want to do before we go out on our test drive, and by the way, I did want to make sure I didn't forget to show you the driving modes. All you're going to do is go through them with this right here. And here's what they are. You have snow. We'll start with Econ. You have normal, snow, and tow mode. Wasn't that interesting? You actually have sport mode as well, so all you're going to do is going to drive and then hit that one more time and it goes into sport mode. And I promise we're about to go on our test drive, but I can't tell you what's new with the Pilot without telling you how much bigger it is. So we have 2.8 inches increase in wheelbase. Wheelbase is the center of one tire to the center of the other, or I should say wheel. Overall length from bumper to bumper increases by 3.4 inches. The width of the new Pilot increases by 1.1 to 1.2 inches here in the front, and 1.4 to 1.5 inches of increase in the rear as far as the width goes. Okay, here we go on our test drive, and I'll tell you what, I do like the ride quality here. At least in my personal opinion. Everybody's going to have their opinions depending on what they're used to. You might have different expectations depending on what you're used to, but the Pilot's never really been a vehicle that didn't ride well. At least the previous generation that I have a lot of road time with. But I have to say, I like how this one rides. It's comfortable. The suspension seems to be good and not overly soft, but it's balanced really well to where you have a good ride, but good handling characteristics, along with good comfortable seating. That's why it's really best to drive one of these vehicles for yourself instead of just taking my word for it, because your expectations may be different, your experience, your background, whatever you're maybe stepping out of before you buy a brand new Pilot, if that's your plan, may be a little different than my situation. So that's why I always say it's good to get out and drive these vehicles for yourself. But I can tell you that it's a very easy vehicle to drive. And depending on the trim level that you buy, upper trim levels actually have many different camera views all around the vehicle, including 360 degree. There are so many different camera views on those vehicles that you really can't have any trouble seeing what's going on around you. So I like that. And even with just the multi-view rear view camera here, it obviously gets the job done. Acceleration is good. With just 5 more horsepower, you would think there probably isn't going to be a big difference, but it does seem to be a little more responsive. It's a lot better off than the driver of that SUV we just had turn in front of us with no blinker. That's so hard to do. I know it's difficult to reach over and touch that lever with your hand. Okay, before I was distracted, let's get back to the review. Sorry. That's part of the fun of driving around in Shreveport, Bossier, is all the wonderful drivers around here. A very enjoyable vehicle to drive. I think it would be very nice to take on a nice long road trip. It would be comfortable. It wouldn't wear you out because of an uncomfortable, harsh ride. Everything is easy to get to. Now, for those of you who are saying, okay, Tom, I have waited for decades to get a new vehicle, but it's finally time. My 1985 whatever has finally gone out on me, and I'm tired of sinking money into it. It's costing me more money per month to keep it on the road than my Honda Pilot payment would probably be. So, how hard is the infotainment system to learn? These vehicles have technology that wasn't available in 1985. Well, in the case of Honda, you have nothing to worry about. It's so easy to learn and use that I honestly will say that you could probably figure it out yourself. It's really that simple. But keep in mind, you do have all of the tutorials all over YouTube that will walk you through all of this. It's real easy to use. In fact, I'll say this. If you have a smartphone and you can use that, you can use the technology in this Pilot. I have to say, I think Honda's done a good job with the changes here, but I'm curious to know, is there something you were hoping for that isn't here? Tell me about that down in the comments section. And there it is. That's what's new with the 2023 Honda Pilot EXL. I'm going to get my hands on other trim levels and I'll be able to tell you even more about what has changed and whether other options are available, depending on what trim level you may wish to buy if you're going to buy a 2023 Honda Pilot. Gotta say a special thanks to my friends here at Holmes Honda for loaning me this Pilot for the day, especially my buddy Stephen Bryan, because he sold this unit. He was kind enough to let me use it. So I appreciate that. And obviously, I appreciate each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn about other vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you there.